Welcome back for the final hour of episode 21 of the Long Voyage, and we will rejoin you guys when you all join up back at the brothel, if you can call it that, the House of Many Pleasures.
At least this time, Ilva is not sitting alone with a handsome young man.
No, she's sitting there with Sindri and a handsome young man, and they're eating as you enter. It looks like they've moved on to some kind of dessert.
Yeah.
While chatting cheerfully.
Yes.
Thordy has much to tell his comrades. He's experienced a lot, and it was much interesting. And he, of course, drags Eileen along.
Eileen comes in and sits down with the rest of you, and when a servant comes over, she looks at the servant and says, "Sake, please." And when the young woman is about to leave, she looks at all of you, and then she looks up at at the servant girl again, and she says, how big are your barrels? And she shows you like a small barrel. It's not a huge one. It's a small one. You know. Yes, please, one of those. Thank you.
How thirsty are you? Are you okay, Eileen?
Are we celebrating?
I need to
Celebrating what?
steady my nerves. She says.
What did you do, Frothy?
I didn't do anything. It was her idea.
Right. She stares back at Frothy.
No, we had. I think she says and just breathes. I'll let you explain what you find most interesting, and I'll join in with. Just give me a moment, please.
Oh, Frothy.
Yes.
Meet Tang Chao. She introduces the young man.
He smiles very politely at you as well and says, "Oh, it's my lucky day. Another person to paint. I mean, I must be the luckiest artist in all of Kepa."
He doesn't have many friends, does this boy?
No.
Poor,
Oh.
sweet creature.
Can I bring him?
Greets him and then looks to Ilva. Does he mean like war paint?
No, like this. She shows the picture of herself.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Right?
He actually, looks a little. He doesn't blush, but he does look a little not ill at ease, but you know what I mean. Because oh my goodness, all the praise being heaped upon me. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
He wants to paint Sindri as well.
That would be a waste.
No, you are.
She
so
kicks him
different.
over the shin under the table.
You are all so different from anyone here, and it would be, it would help make me so much better at what I do, to have a chance to paint someone so very different.
Well, as long as you paint me prettier than Sindri.
Oh, I would do my absolute best to make sure it looks like you.
Give
I
him a
mean-
huge nose.
Sindri shakes his head and says, I'm sure you're good, but not that good to make him look better than me.
he actually chuckles at this. I mean, he has been listening to your self-deprecation, so he gets that it's a joke.
Yes, of course.
And
Yeah.
And Eileen, of course, at this point, hasn't said anything else, but she does look very longingly towards where the servant girl is now bringing a small barrel of sake and some cups to drink from, and when she gets that, the young servant, she does start by pouring Eileen a cup, and Eileen empties it in one long gulp.
He's finally taking to the Southland away.
And
Ilva smiles proudly.
I think that is the closest I've ever been to the mist.
I still don't know what that is.
They're killers.
The mist.
Oh.
Ridiculous.
Yes, there's a difference. You kill very effectively, may I say, openly and in battle. The mist is called the mist because you don't really notice that they are there until it's too late.
Ah, I think in the Southland we would call them cowards. But I can
Yeah.
see in your situation how that might be efficient.
They are not soldiers, they are common men and women who dedicate themselves officially to protecting other common men and women from cruelty and hardship. But there are not many of them. There are few of them spread out over the entirety of the empire.
And with all the laws you have, if they do it openly, they'll just get caught.
Exactly. They can't do something like that in the open. They're not even allowed to own weapons. But think about it this way. Anyone in this room except for us, and then she looks at Tang Chao and says, well, even except you, she says, and please don't take offense at this, but anyone not in our little group of travelers in this room could be one of them, listening, gathering information every day, listening to rumors, picking up information about Lord Song or the magistrates in the city, if they are unfair or cruel or harsh. And then suddenly one morning that person doesn't wake up. And for all anybody can see, they've just died in their sleep. And
Well, how do you know they didn't?
often they might have, but just as often the mist has been there with a little drop of something really, really unpleasant in their food, or a stab of a needle through a thin wall, also coated in something foul, something like that.
Ah,
Hilva doesn't look impressed, but she doesn't like the secrecy and shit when killing people.
it sounds. It sounds like something that would exist here. It sounds tedious to me.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
Tedious.
the point of it is, when people who are cruel and vicious die in such a way, it is very difficult for other cruel and harsh people to punish innocent people for having, murdered their predecessor. Because for all they know, he simply died in his sleep. It's a method of protecting. But they are very dangerous people, and if they think that somebody is a threat, they will remove that threat. If they are endangered and if their mission is put at risk, they will protect the mission the way they see it. This is not very nice, I know, but the way they see it, if they can save 100 innocent people by killing 1 or 2 innocent people, then it is a trade-off they are willing to make.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
It probably does, but it's not a nice thought. Because
No.
those who died didn't deserve it.
Well, if they were in the way.
That doesn't mean that they deserve to die.
No.
True.
Could
I
be,
think that's why we prefer open combat. Then they could have defended themselves, and it would be
Or-
entirely fair.
or simply left, because at least they would know that they were in the way.
Exactly.
But shouldn't the city then be happy if the mist is falling upon it?
Well, yes, but as you also heard,
If they were that well beloved,
sorry, please.
sorry, think further. If they were that well beloved by people, they would not have to skulk in the shadows.
Exactly. In a place like this, they probably won't have to skulk in the shadows out in the villages, the rice paddies and so on. They will probably be protected by the people out there as best they can. But in here, where everybody is eating their fill every day, where people are rich and wearing nice fabrics and so on,
But people are fat and lazy.
yes. They have
Yeah, I
no
have seen the
reason-
conditions out there.
They have no reason to love the mist.
True.
Especially if they are here to save the people, then that would mean they'd have to let something go so the others could eat.
Yes.
Well, then I'll rephrase. The people outside of the city should be happy that the mist is
I
falling.
think they are. If they know that it's happening, I think you can be certain that they are happy. It's
Well-
not a. It is a. I did not like to drive through. I really did not like driving through that. That.
What's banking and
something
clunking?
is clunking and banging or something.
Probably me. I apologize. Let me mute.
I did not like to see what we saw when we drove through all those villages. People were suffering.
Yes, they were suffering. I mean, we wouldn't even treat our thralls like that. Well, some dickhead might, but most people wouldn't.
It's yeah. I'm well, she says, and drinks another cup of the sake, and basically she knows, she passes around cups so that everybody can join her.
Sort of
Speaking-
declines and says, "I'm doing magic later." So
Oh,
Speaking of unfairness, the Donnie sisters?
just done, but yes.
Don sisters.
yes, they were.
That's
interesting.
horrible. What?
The sisters.
You've met them?
Yes. Oh, I didn't even start telling yet.
No, please, she says, and blushes. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, first we went to this creepy magic shop, but that's not important. Afterwards, we went to the market, and some guy bumped into me.
The creepy magic shop being the one where you wanted to buy a skull?
Yes, that one. I see you've met him.
He's nice. I don't see why you think he's creepy.
Ah, I think we might have had different experiences. Anyways,
It was the skull of his wife, right?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy it. I hope I can afford it.
Hmm.
Anyways, this guy bumps into me, and he's in a hurry. And Eileen here, he says, and pats her on the back, got the idea that he was important. And I thought, well, we're not really doing anything, might as well. And we followed him, which it turns out she's really good at. He pats her on the back again. So we found this big house that was far too wealthy for where it was. And then we told them that, or well, she did, that we were there to make dresses. And then we got in, and we talked to the sisters, and I think you should explain.
Well, we got in because, well, Frothy suggested that maybe I could tell them what I do for a living, and maybe they would be interested in buying clothes, and we could get in that way, and we did, and we talked to them, and well, you know, they told us that, you know, I wouldn't be, let's just say I wouldn't be popular with a lot of other people in Kepa if I made clothes for them, because they weren't popular. And I mean, neither of us really knew much at this point, but then this man came out that Frothy had bumped into earlier, and we got to talking, and he basically said, you know, he explained that well, it's kind of, it seems that the lord of the city, and she kind of, you know, she drops her voice because, you know, people might be listening. He's been, you know, people say that he's a war hero and that he's won great big victories and so on the fronts far away, but apparently he left Kepa with 3,000 men, and he came home with only his son. And that's 3 years ago, and nobody has heard a thing from any of these men since.
That's an amazing waste of people.
Yeah. And that's what these people, that's what this man explained to us, and then he said that he would pay a visit tomorrow, because
Yes, I think it was in the morning.
He said he'd come by in the morning, and then he left, saying that there is a saying, when expected, stay away; when not, pay a visit. But that's the motto of the mist.
That's a good saying.
I suppose it is. I mean, I guess that's why they picked it. But it's whew.
That would be rude, wouldn't it? You're supposed to be somewhere and talk with someone and then you don't show up because you're expected. That's just rude.
Yes, but if you're out to kill someone, assassinate someone, you don't want to turn up when you're expected.
She looks like she's thinking about that. She's not the brightest cookie around.
You know, a surprise attack, an ambush.
Not Liam again.
Haha.
She downs her sake. She's very unhappy.
Eileen takes another cup of this stuff and gets to her feet and says, if it's okay, I'll go upstairs for a little bit and get some rest.
Yeah.
If he's up there, send him down here to talk to me.
Yes, I will. Well, she heads upstairs,
And that's the last time we'll ever see her alive.
Yeah, the last thing Ilva thinks is when she walks up there is, I hope she's not expected up there.
But yeah.
So yes, well, she heads upstairs and Tang Xiao is sitting there going, looking a little, uneasy because he's still the son of the commander of the garrison. At the same time, he's not on the most fantastic terms with his dad. So he's like, well, I can't say I haven't been thinking the same thing.
What?
Ah,
Sorry?
He says, I can't say I haven't been thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and Ilva is saying, what?
Oh,
Sorry,
right.
because she was trying to figure out the saying.
He says, I mean, I wasn't of age yet when they left back then.
Yeah.
But my dad was, well, he was still staying here because he's supposed to be in charge of the garrison. But a lot of his men went with Lord Sung. He had to, my father had to recruit new men and train them. He's really good at that, both at recruiting and training, so it wasn't difficult for him to find new recruits. And often he will recruit from the villages around in the countryside because, well, young men from out there, they realize that they're going to get fed and they're going to get paid if they go to join. The point is, of course, that they also get, well, they're loyal to my father, and through my father, they're loyal to Lord Sung.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of young men walking away that day. A lot. And they were all, they looked fantastic, new weapons, polished weapons over their shoulders, and all the same uniforms, and they look great.
yes, of course, you have to keep the city happy.
Yeah, and we thought 3,000 of them, that's a lot of people going to the front, and if every district send that many people, then it's going to be an enormous army, and surely we can't lose. That's how we all thought. And then
Well,
a year after that, Lord Sung comes home with his son. He's telling us all that he's won these great victories, and people have arrived in Kepa since then from merchants and so on from other cities and other districts, and they've said that yes, it's true that there were these great victories in the district or in that part of the front that Lord Sung went to. So it's been confirmed that he has won great victories. He just didn't bring anyone with him home, and nobody's heard anything from them since.
well, something weird happened then, if they really went to the fronts in the first place.
Well,
And either they all died, and he lied, or something else happened.
I think if every district, and I don't know how many districts you have, but if every
Hundreds,
district
many hundreds, even thousands. he says.
sends that many, or perhaps even more, then the loss of 3,000 is not that many, and a victory could still be great if you look at
Yes,
the whole picture.
absolutely. But surely, he says, then some of them would at least have survived. I mean, isn't it? If they've lost 3 or even 10,000, why would they all be from Keppa? It's his own town, his own city.
Yeah,
It's
that is strange. But it can also have something to do in where in the army they are placed.
I mean, again, I'm just the painter. I don't know much about that, but I do know that. Let's just say that Lord Sung coming home to his own city, it would always make him look better if he had protected the lives of the men he himself brought with him.
But he doesn't seem that concerned with that.
Exactly.
It would also mean, if he did bring them back, more armed men who could possibly disagree with him, whereas if he bring no armed men with him back, and start making new armies to support him, they're all within his control.
Indeed.
He reminds me increasingly much like Liam.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, Liam didn't care a smidgen about his people either, and if they died, he could just get new ones. This is... Ugh. They're everywhere.
He's playing the game as if he was the powers. But he's not. He shouldn't play that way.
No, that's very true. That's exactly it, isn't it? That he thinks he's a bigger piece in the great game than he actually is.
Yeah.
Whereas
The big difference is if you're a sword, mortals can't kill you.
yes,
He's very much not an immortal person.
no, exactly, and I mean, well, we have the sword of the dove, but the empire is vast. I mean, he could be anywhere, and that's why we have the mist. That's why we rely on the mist to deal with cruelty. But
It seems like they're doing the job.
for all their skill, yes, but they are still mortal. They can fail.
So can a sword.
Indeed, Kanashi exiled himself.
And that was probably one of the biggest problems.
Well, it was that apparently, or something far worse. Yeah,
Even if a sword is unkillable, that doesn't mean that 1,000 men can't restrain them.
exactly.
I know.
And the Red Emperor was a monster.
Yes, I keep hearing that. Not doing the color red any favors.
No, definitely not. He was a true horror. He's used to scare children into, behaving these days.
Yeah. We just
That
used the
is-
Raven Lady.
Oh, is the Raven Lady? Is that one of your powers?
That's our
That's a
sword.
sword.
He looks a little.
Sword of the Wanderer.
He looks a little confused. So, you are using your own sword to scare children.
It works like a charm.
She is a very good ruler, but she can also be quite intimidating.
He looks even more confused. So your sword rules your home?
Yes. Who else can see the big picture?
Wow.
She lives so
Your
long
home-
that, well,
Your home must be so different from this place.
it is.
Yes.
We don't need someone like the Mist to fix it, for example.
Right. Well, I can say I wish, and I guess I wish in some ways we would be a little more like you then.
We also have Gangria, which is her name, who actually doesn't like people treating others like shit.
Oh, Oh, so your sword also favors justice and proper treatment of everyone.
Yes.
So much so we have something called Tinginess. Once a year, everyone is heard like equals.
Even commoners?
We, we don't really have noble houses as such. There's no need for it.
We do have rulers in different holdings across our territories, but
Well, I suppose you kind of have to keep, sort of be administrating areas and so on, he says.
Yeah, but someone like the Don's sister wanting to marry your lord's son wouldn't be an issue because they would just marry. There would be no issue of blood there.
That's not to say that marriage agreements for political stability are not a thing.
No.
Remember the Phalans?
I'm trying not to. Yes, some.
He kind of has this whole blank look on his face. Clearly, that is a reference that obviously he can't catch.
It's a long story,
Yeah,
my friend.
Long story.
But the point is, originally, some families of different ruling families in the different holdings will have marriages between their children in order to secure peace.
Oh, I see. Well,
For all-
that's I suppose that makes sense.
Hmm.
So, but still, they're not in power the same way as a man like Lord Sung is here, and then commoners actually have more rights.
They do.
Yes, even
I think if a commoner treated this way brought up that treatment at Ting, the rulers would be punished.
Severely.
So your rulers can even be punished from his. He's sitting there looking like you've told him about a world that is just ass backwards.
Yeah, because-
Gangario is at the top.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
He
it's just a
listens to
sword,
people.
as you say.
Ting.
Right. I mean, I have to say, I think your system sounds. I can't imagine how that works, but at the same time, it really sounds fascinating.
I think, imagine that your empire was small enough that the emperor could have an overview and a say in everything that went on. Gangaria would be that emperor.
Oh.
But
So-
you've
So it's also a smaller realm that you're from.
much, well, I
Well,
don't know about size, but we're much fewer people.
the 3,000 that was sent out
Yes.
is about the size of our largest city. Maybe a few thousand more.
Wow. That just does not compute in his that wouldn't even be called a city here. That would be
No.
a sort of a large town, maybe.
Even larger with us because, he gestures, generally to his size.
Wow.
Don't worry, he's compensating.
It's
What do you know about that?
it's he again, he looks apologetic. I wouldn't guess. He says yes. Oops. I would say though, he's clearly also getting a little tipsy from the from the sake. I would say if you're meeting with this person tomorrow, maybe I could get to paint you too. He says later in the day.
Yes,
I
I actually
imagine-
have something I want to show you.
Great. But I think maybe if we could do a painting of you mock fighting or something, where it looks
Like, get some
there's-
fun.
well, with weapons drawn and everything, that would be such a powerful picture.
But they only use swords. It's so boring.
I would say don't actually cut him, just hold the pose. So
I can burn him.
He's Mohotsukai.
Oh, no.
And don't. We need him.
Yes, please, just don't hurt him, or the other way around. Please don't hurt each
Just a
other.
little bit.
No, please don't hurt each other. He says,
You haven't seen our pastime when we wrestle, have you?
no. Oh, you wrestle.
No. Yeah. It isn't unlike for people to end up with a black eye or something like that.
Right.
It's
Right.
pretty normal.
I would say, if you have time later tonight, then, if you like that kind of thing as entertainment.
Well,
Well,
I have somewhere else I need to be, and I think shortly.
Yes. But I would say if you have time, go to a place called the Black Square.
The Black Square?
Yes, the Black Square. It's a building. Go there if you like such things as, wrestling and fighting as entertainment.
Can you participate?
I can't, he says, because again, he's tipsy, so he understands it that way, because I don't know how to fight. I guess,
But you will participate.
yeah, I think so.
Ooh. She lights up in a bright smile.
They would probably find it a bit strange to wrestle a woman, and they would have difficulties finding an opponent for you, I think, but at least in theory,
Why would it be difficult to find an opponent?
because there aren't that many other women who would be fighting you.
There's- But
So
they
men don't
would.
even stand a chance.
Yeah, but they wouldn't. The point is that if a man did that, even in an arranged fight, the next morning he would quite likely be dragged in front of the magistrate, and whatever appendage he used to strike you with would quite likely be cut off before noon,
Why?
Oh.
because men are not supposed to strike women.
Wrestling.
Even so, it is forbidden.
Hmm.
I like the idea of that rule, but I dislike how you're not treating your women as equal.
He just shrugs and looks, like he doesn't quite know what to say to that. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he says a woman is just as good as me, but the law is not written by me.
Are your women really that unable to defend themselves?
Yes, by and large, they are.
Her eye twitches slightly.
Well, you can always teach them, Ilva.
I'd break them in two before they actually learn anything. Oh my
I
god.
mean, there are, of course, those very few women who are part of the mist.
Good on them.
And there are stories that at least some nobles, secretly train their girls to be able to defend themselves as well, because, again, assassinations and so on. But most women, no, they don't.
That's such a strange concept. Even girls in our homeland learns to fight.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone
not
learns to use
necessarily
a
as well
weapon.
as a battle maiden, but
No, but they learn how to use a knife, if anything. But that's also because most men leave for raids. They have to defend themselves on a daily basis as well.
Right. Well, he says, and gets up on slightly wobbly legs. I should probably get back home and get some rest, or I won't be able to do any painting tomorrow, because, I think I'm gonna have a headache.
ha, that's great. I need to go buy some incense
Right.
and a head. You want to come along, Ilva?
Yeah, let's go back to the weird man.
What about you, Sindri?
I have
Yeah, come along with us. Come on, Sindri.
I have an engagement here this evening.
I'll make sure to bring you back some powdered corpse of Hangman then.
What?
What?
It's for potent.
Prithee,
Potensen's what?
Prithee,
Hmm.
you have 10 breath head start before I come after you.
Throaty looks so utterly unimpressed at you.
3.
Ilva steps back.
4.
I'm not saving you from this one, Frothy.
Crosses his arms and raises an eyebrow.
I'll go ahead. Catch me when you're done fighting.
I'll be there in a second. Or in a
And
breath.
don't break anything in here.
Not even Sindri.
Not even Sindri.
You get to 7, and then you hear a shout in the street outside.
Oh.
Panic.
Well,
Postponed.
Ilva is on the way out.
Yes,
Throaty
Cindy's
is now as
postponing
well.
Yeah. There is... pandemonium is slowly spreading in the streets.
Why?
From what you can gather, Lord Sung has just died.
Oh.
I mean, sure, why not?
As in, not Jong, but his daddy?
His daddy.
Old man
Oh.
Sung has,
Old
has,
man
has
Sung has just passed away.
how convenient.
Apparently, literally pinned to the wall by 6 long arrows.
Not the style of killing we were told about, but still efficient.
I mean, that's the point. Is that if he's been pinned to the wall by 6 arrows, that doesn't fit what little we know of the mist.
It
So
does fit with something else, though.
yes, it does fit with some other person that we know about who.
God damn it, Ren, stop being so rambunctious.
Again, no, I don't think it's him.
I think you're the only one who doesn't.
But well, one of us has to pretend to be gullible.
Well, I keep looking at his picture, and when I look at his pictures, there's little lines behind him as if he's been running really fast. For some strange reason.
I don't know. Anyway, the
Also,
point.
the
Okay.
more Joan protests, the more I'm certain it is.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I completely.
Anyway.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I will protest my innocence.
Anyway,
Yes.
Ilva is happily unknowing of what I think, so she just looks, well, so much for being discreet, huh?
Yeah, that's odd.
She's talking in Southlands, of course. It's stupid to stand there. Hey, they weren't as
Yeah.
discreet as they thought they were.
I think Throaty does as well. Perhaps they grew impatient.
But arrows?
Perhaps they had someone less disciplined and much worse suited to the tedious work Eileen described, who just went, yeah, this is much more easy.
Or maybe he didn't eat the thing they were supposed to eat.
Let me give you some advice, both of you, as a hunter and a tracker.
Ah.
Do not twist what knowledge you do have to suit theories. Use instead your theories to match. Make sure your theories match the facts.
My new theory is that you
Yeah.
did it, Sindri.
Based on what?
You like to shoot arrows, and you're big, so big arrows would possibly be shot by you.
Do you hear them talking about these arrows coming from a black-haired pale giant?
Hey,
I
I
know
was
what you
talking with
Oh.
Ren on the way here,
Yeah?
and he said that Kanashi is a really good bowman, and that he
That's
doesn't
what's up,
like
right?
the state of everything here either, and that he's really fast.
Well,
Well,
Would
if
make
it
sense.
the mist would use poison, right? As she said, they would be died in the sleep. So someone really good with a bow who can come in anywhere would have been able to do it.
And
Maybe.
oh, and I should say, at exactly this time, while you're you're standing there in the doorway, looking at this, up behind you comes, of all people, Ren.
And she's still talking in Southland, so that would actually work. Well, he did say that the man didn't like people being unfair. Hello, Ren.
yeah, let's ask him. Hi, Ren.
Hello. What? Oh, he's also listening. Oh dear. This is
Yeah.
not good.
Why not?
Because we've still got Liling here, and people panicking in the streets. You don't
Isn't
know.
she in her?
Well, yes, she's in her room, but if this turns into a riot,
You're
Where
saying we
is
should
Lee?
Stay with her and scare away anyone who's trying to get there.
well, yeah, that would be a
I
good
think-
idea.
That's-
Well, Liling is not in the Scarlet Cloud. She is
she's-
somewhere else.
Yes, she went to stay at the palace.
So
Well,
she's
they-
up where Lord Sung lives.
Yes, she is. That's true.
Well, they will have guards, won't they?
Yes, guards that were utterly ineffective against
Yes.
protecting Lord Sung. I think perhaps we need to find a way to get in there and get her out.
Okay, but I'm not burning down the keep.
No, I
No,
think
you're
that would be
not.
a bad idea, but maybe I should.
Should what?
Size. Maybe I should go and ask if I can be let in.
Yes, you are some sort of person from the capital.
Yes, yes.
He's
I am.
also. You were a noble person too, right?
Yes, I am.
Why are you sleeping down here then?
I guess I just like people.
Ah, okay.
Well, a noble should have bodyguards. Thorny says, and gestures to the rest of us.
I need my bodyguard outfit then.
That's true.
I'm wearing a
he says,
kimono.
Though in strictly speaking, he says I am capable of taking care of myself. But thank
Well,
you.
you can go alone if you want.
Well, oh, you mean in that way? You mean to, have bodyguards to be let in? Ah, he's
Frothy is being smart.
Frothy is being clever and all. Yes, let's all go.
And you were being dense. That's usually me.
Let's all go, bodyguards. He says maybe you should get your armor.
Armor?
and- yes.
Yeah, I will go look less like a maiden and more like a battle maiden.
If you help me get in my armor, I'll help you. I
Not a
imagine it's,
chance.
the kind of armor you need a little help getting into.
It's definitely easier if you have somebody to hold it while you pull it over your head. It is. heavy.
Yeah, let's go.
So yes. So
I
you
haven't
guys.
worn it in a while.
You guys go and get armored and get ready and get and get going. When you come back down, he is in fact he is wearing a breastplate, not unlike what the in Imperial foot soldiers in that image what they would be wearing. Some kind of armor at least, and he's wearing some shoulder protection as well, and he has a long straight sword by his side.
It wouldn't be weird for someone who's actually traveling with the lady to want to know that she's still okay after that.
No, that makes perfect sense, and he's so let's go.
Yes.
The Black Square will have to wait.
Indeed,
And I suppose the old man will have to defend his store from looters, but
the Black Square. Why were you heading to the Black Square? That's a disreputable place.
we want
Yeah,
to see
but
Ilva
there's
wrestle.
fighting.
Well, yes,
I haven't wrestled someone decent in a while, okay?
it is fun. I'll grant you. It's just disreputable. Okay, he says,
So?
let's go, and he starts making his way up towards the castle. It takes a good long while because it's against the stream of a lot of
Of screaming people
Yes.
I mean,
with pandemonium following them.
even with you three, people are in a state of complete panic in the streets.
try and pull what is the name of that character from Princess Bride? The one played by Andre the Giant.
What?
Oh yeah, right. I can't remember.
The bit, and basically, I think Sindri will try and pull that off, that thing where he just goes in front of the crowd and just yells out, "Everybody move!"
Yes.
I think the three of us could make quite efficient icebreakers.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, if we walk in front, people will see us and go, "Oh nope, I'm going around that."
Not really. Again, there are a lot of people in the street and they're panicking. They're not.
Yep.
We can push them aside more easily
Yes,
than
you
we
can
could.
definitely do that. But for them to move aside for you, not everybody's going to do that.
No, of course not.
No, they're busy. They want to
Exactly.
get away.
Of course.
And
They are
you-
little like lemmings running for
they're,
pure
They're
life.
frightened. You have, women and children in the street crying. You have men wondering, what is going to happen to the city. It's panic.
Oh well. If the son didn't die, then he'll probably take over.
If he's died in his sleep or something, that would be one thing. But this is clearly not a natural death.
No, and it's also the way he's been killed is clearly meant to send some kind of message.
Yes.
Because people don't usually, when they are shot with arrows, they don't usually get pinned to a wall doing so.
Yeah, shot in all of major organs in alphabetical order.
I have a theory on what the message is. Stop being a dickhead.
I mean,
Yes.
but the point is that yes, we'll fight against it, and obviously if they're going to be like women and children in the way, we're not going to be rough with them.
No.
Or anything, because we're not savages. I keep saying that. I keep having to say that we're not savages.
Just rough enough that we can get through, not too rough.
We are deflecting them against us.
Yes, if Sindri ends up roughing a child, he's probably going to realise what he's done and try and slit his throat with his own arrowheads.
Yes.
Because
when you get pretty close, you're getting fairly close to the castle, or the palace. You see someone. It's not even as if it's difficult to see. There is a man. He's covered mostly. He's hiding in the shadows of a narrow alley between two buildings, and he is gesturing for you guys. It's clear that he's intending you guys to come over there.
Ilva turns off and walks towards him.
I mean, we should probably get. Is Ren coming with, or is he?
Yes, Ren is in fact following, or
well, that's the thing. Is if the gentleman was just saying you come and leave him behind, it's like no, we need his permission. But if he's joining us, then it's fine. Okay, good.
And he's when you get there, this person is further into the alley and still covered in darkness or in shadows. And he's when he gets there, he doesn't really seem to bother with you three, but he looks or he seems to be looking at Ren, and he says, "Lord Ren, I should inform you," he says. And Ren, you can see he's raising an eyebrow. He says, "You know me?" And the person in the shadows says, "My name is Guo. I am not.
What?
I am not the killer. You are the emissary of the sword. I did not do this deed. The mist did not kill Lord Sung." And Ren stands there for a moment, clearing his throat. Yes. Very well. Okay. I will make sure that. Yes. All right. And as he's clearly flustered, and as he says that, you can see the man in the shadows scampering up the walls. He's not running up the walls, obviously, but he's climbing up the walls at an impressive speed. And
I mean, that was Ilva mutters to herself. That was pretty obvious. That's not at all a discreet way of doing it.
And as he gets to the top of the building, you see him for he gets out into the sun. He's up on the roofs, so you can see him for a brief moment before he runs away.
I want to learn that trick.
Show off.
Oh.
And as you
Well, shall we go?
And as you stand there in the side alley with a somewhat flustered and somewhat confused and definitely rather embarrassed Ren, I think we should stop there until next week.
Oh, to get a one-liner in there.
Oh, no, please.
I was like, well, that was certainly an interesting conversation. Emissary to the sword.
Yeah, and that's the reason for the somewhat fishy facial expression. And then we'll stop there until next time.
I imagine he says that, and the last image is Ilva discreetly booping Ren because he froze.
So let's give you 3 XP. I hesitate to say, but as usual, and we are going to be back not next week and not the week after with the Long Voyage, on the simple reason that next week is Christmas Eve, and the week after that is New Year's Eve. So we shall see all of you lovely people back here for more The Long Voyage in 2018. So from us, have a very lovely holiday season. Whatever holidays you may or may not be celebrating, certainly have a very nice one, and a very happy New Year. And I think that's it from us. So from us here, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Merry holidays.
Bye.